Okay, here we are at the stove, and the first thing that we're going to do is combine our oil, lanolin, and cocoa butter in our glass pan. In the written version of this tutorial, I have made a double batch of this moisturizer. If you want to make a smaller batch, then follow the measurements I give you here, which are 1/3 cup of your carrier oil, just put that right in the glass pan. Make sure you get it all in there. Next we have 1/2 tablespoon of lanolin, and I'm going to use a wooden spoon to get this out. Lanolin can be really sticky, so be aware of that. Next we have 1/2 teaspoon of cocoa butter. So we've got our 1/2 teaspoon of cocoa butter, 1/2 teaspoon of lanolin, and 1/3 cup of carrier oil combined in our glass pan, and we are going to heat this on very low heat. You do not want to boil this or scorch it in any way, so make sure you turn the heat on low. Meanwhile, in our second pan, we are going to combine 1.5 tablespoons of our water. And as you'll recall, I'm using rose water, so I'm going to combine 1.5 tablespoons, not very much at all, of my rose water. And I'm also going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of borax into my water. And I'm going to heat that on low and stir it until the borax is dissolved. Okay, and once your lanolin, cocoa butter, and oil have completely melted and you just have a liquid left, then you're going to turn the heat off. And we are going to combine our oil mixture with our water and borax mixture. And I'm going to do this in this large glass measuring cup. I'm just going to pour in the oil. And it's turned a sort of orangish yellow color here. That's just from the lanolin. And then I'm going to pour in my water and my borax mixture. Okay, now what we're going to do here is take a fork, spoon, whisk, whatever you have, and we're just going to stir this. And as you can see, it immediately begins to turn into a white, creamy mixture. We're going to continue stirring this until it's cool and it starts to get thick. Okay, now that we have a nice creamy consistency, we're going to go ahead and add our essential oil. We're going to use approximately 3 drops of our essential oil. 1, 2, 3 drops. If you get a drop or 2 more, it won't make that big a difference. Just don't go overboard. And we're going to blend this again. Make sure we get the essential oil nice and blended in. And you don't want this to become too thick in your mixing container because we're going to let this set up in our jar. If it starts to become too thick, we won't be able to pour it into our storage container. You do want to go for a little bit of thickness here, though. You don't want this to be too runny. Okay, now that it's nice and blended, we're going to pour this into our container. And it's starting to get thick now. And that's good. As it cools, it will thicken even more. Don't worry if it's runny at this stage. And we're going to put the lid on. And you can see it's still pretty runny right now, but don't fear. After 30 minutes to an hour, this is going to be a nice, creamy lotion texture. Okay, and the only thing left to do at this point, now that our moisturizer is finished, is to label it. And you're just going to make a label. I'm just going to call this Cocoa Butter Lotion. And I'm going to put the date. And you don't need to store this in the refrigerator. You can store this in a medicine cabinet, wherever you normally store your lotions and cosmetics, and it will keep for 30 days. And there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching.